In my last video, I responded to a comment by saying I've had a lot of jobs over the years and I just want to complain about one of them today. I worked at a factory making like string filters. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't last there long. Pretty much all I would do all day is just put like a tube on some machine and then a string would just wind around it and then it'd be done. And it'd take like a couple minutes to make each filter. It was so boring. Like you'd walk in, the entire place was like dark gray and depressing. There was one small window way above eye level, so it's just one Minecraft glass block at like the roof, so there was like no point of even having a window there. That would have been like the first red flag of working there. The manager there, let me tell you, he looked like Wallace Shawn from The Princess Bride. He's the dude that says inconceivable. Oh boy, did he have a temper. A few years ago, like one of the things I wanted to do for like a New Year's resolution was journal every single day. So I was just looking through this journal and found the few weeks I worked at this job. For the first day, in one of the sentences I said I was enjoying it, and then the next sentence was just, it is so depressing. Holy shit, I want to leave already. The pay also wasn't good, and I was also in school at the time, so balancing school with a full-time job was pretty difficult at the time. I ended up making it work later on, but literally the second day there, I wrote in the notes, it feels like I'm trapped in like Southeast China working in a Nike sweatshop. When I think about it, it probably looks exactly like a sweatshop because there's just like no sunlight in the room. Everything was dark and depressing. No one had a smile on their face. Yeah, it was a factory, but like there's gotta be better work conditions there than that. Whenever I told any of our friends about what the place looked like and like what we had to do, shout out Soul, he ended up telling some of his friends stories that we had to tell, and he said like it literally sounded like campfire stories of the kind of things that we're saying. We were known as like, I think it was like the factory boys or something like that. We just didn't seem real in like the eyes of other people. One of the stories of working there. So like I said, you just put a tube on a machine and a string spins around it and it's pretty much done. But they were so easy to break and I broke them constantly. One of the worst shifts I've had there, I ended up breaking 4 machines within an hour and a half, which was like a new record for me. The most I've ever broken was 4 in a day, but this was a new record of how fast I broke them. I literally had to wait for someone to come by with a wrench, open it up, fix the gears inside or something like that. They must have hated me. I don't remember who they are or what they look like. I just remember a wrench needed to fix gears. I was just constantly breaking everything over there. And then one day on one of the drives to the factory, I saw a pink bunny strapped on the front of like a rusted truck. So I just thought, this place is just bad luck, because I'm not sure if the pink bunny is supposed to be a joke. Hopefully it is. If not, oh God, that truck was probably part of some documentary. Every single day I was hating it more and more and more, and just the money wasn't worth it, and it was no money. Everyone was telling me, like my grandmother, my dad, they were telling me like, hey, stay for the money. Work sucks, money's good. Honestly, that philosophy is just so flawed. I would 100% rather be completely broke and be the happiest person in the world than be rich and just be so depressed. With YouTube, a bunch of comments are telling me, hey, do movie videos, you'll blow up, you'll make a lot of money. They don't make me happy anymore. It's so stressful, which I'll get into the comments later on. Doing this, it's so simple and it makes me happy. I tried recording Star Wars Battlefront 2 gameplay earlier. I think it's the game that's the problem. I really like this game because I grew up with it. My most favorite memories of all time on games is this game. It felt different trying to play a different game. So I think this is just gonna be the main thing in the background. But what I honestly could do is just upload these to Spotify, since the gameplay is not what matters in these videos. It's just something to look at if you're bored. This job taught me one thing, and like one thing only, which is when you're depressed, you come up with some of the funniest imaginable. Because my main playlist I would listen to while working there was one I made on the clock. It was titled Fingering My Ass Pretending It's Hers, which is just the funniest title I've ever heard. So now what I've done is remade that playlist to put on Spotify. I was going through it at the job. I had so much MCR on that playlist. I had like MCR, Pierce the Veil, Asking Alexandria, all the emo hits. I don't listen to that music anymore. Oh God, that job made me go through a phase. But since I got to listen to music for 8 hours a day, I got inspired to make my own music. What sucks about being at like a draining job is the entire day you're just inspired to make something and you're thinking, oh, the second I clock out, I'm going to have all the time in the world to work on something to get me out of this job. And then I clock out and I'm just so exhausted and I don't end up making any music and I just waste the rest of the night away. I had the title for the album name, I had all the song names, I had the list of songs of what the songs would sound like. Like I played guitar for probably 6 or 7 years at that point. Or no, it probably would have been like 4 or 5 maybe. The album was going to be called like The Marked Ones, and all the marked ones are going to be like all my friends, and then the song titles were going to be their names, like not their full name, but just the first names. Each person would have a song that would kind of like, I try to make it sound similar to, so like one person might have Buckethead song. If you don't know Buckethead, it's just a guy in a mask with a KFC bucket on his head. He's apparently like one of the greatest guitarists of all time. I never learned my lesson of don't take jobs just for the money, choose happiness instead, because happiness always outweighs the money, and you should always just be happier instead of just having money, because if you have money, you could do more stuff. When I was at my last job, I had money, but I did absolutely nothing because I was so miserable. I just wanted to stay home inside and just wish the next day never came. Depressing, I know, but now that's gone and I'm making content that makes me happy, even though people don't like it. I can at least say I'm happy now, and I'm not in like such a toxic environment. During one of my final weeks of working there, I got onto antidepressants because the job just made me that miserable. And I was only on it for like a few days, and I just stopped cold turkey, which you're not supposed to do. I only took it for I think maybe 3 days, and then I just, and then I left. Even though it was one of the lowest doses, one of the side effects was fear. One night at like 9 p.m., I had to pick up Chinese takeout for my mom, and I just drove 10 minutes down the street to pick it up. You haven't experienced genuine fear. This made me feel like I was hallucinating. It was such a rough time. If you've seen The Sixth Sense, I hate the title of the movie, I can never say it. Sixth Sense. Do you remember the scene where the main child is underneath a blanket and there's just a random girl there just puking underneath a blanket? Either I was hallucinating and I was seeing it in the back seat, or I felt its presence in the back seat just throwing up, and I'm like, I hate this, this is the worst drive I've ever experienced. I just want to go home. I was shaking when I was carrying the bag. I was just grabbing, I was shaking. It was such a rough drive. And then a few days later, I just couldn't take it anymore. I just had to quit both the job and later on the antidepressants. I just quit that night, because the second I quit, I just felt like I was lifted by the heavens. I felt lighter, I felt happier. Everything was great once I left the job. That morning, normally I'd carpool with my brother because he worked there too. That morning at like 6 a.m., I told him like, hey, I'm gonna drive this time, and then I just didn't show up to work. I drove all the way to Salem, where the witch trials took place. I just chilled at one of the filming locations of Hocus Pocus. I just relaxed, and it felt good, but I had a long drive back home. I just mentally snapped. I could not take it anymore. There were no perks of working at that job. Everything there was just miserable. I went back to work hours later, same day, and just told Wallace Shawn, like, hey, school needs me to be there in person full time. I can't work here anymore. And he's like, I don't even know who you are. So then I left, focused on school, got another job, which was one of the best jobs I've ever had, which I have so many stories for that place. Focused on school, got a cybersecurity degree that I don't even use because I hate coding and IT. It's just not fun. Now I'm on to the comments from Big Noodle 6961. He says, hello. Hi. From Jax Tate, he says, get out of my head. I'm gonna live rent-free in your head for at least the next few months. My lease isn't up yet. Ruben 2870 says, feature me, and then one of the most disgusting words in the English language. You're featured, don't call me that again. And then Mr. Bobu left a few comments. He wants me to do a lot more movie reviews, and that it's easy to avoid copyright detection, just get rid of the music and I'll be fine. But there's more than that. There's an entire section when you upload a YouTube video that detects copyrighted material in your videos so it won't get uploaded. So it's not just taking out the music. In all of my videos, there's not one single frame of movie audio. I cut all the scenes below 3 seconds to try and avoid as much content ID detection as possible. I flipped the scenes, I changed the color correction. I did absolutely everything, every single YouTube video, YouTube comment, Reddit thread, Quora, absolutely everything. It still resulted in a community guideline strike, which threatened to take down my channel. I'm just not gonna do movies. And then he listed a bunch of movies that he wants me to do, and 3 of those I already did, which those 3 got taken down. Plus there's a bunch of comments in new videos where it's just AI saying, hey, make movie videos, they're insanely profitable, but they're not, because a lot of the comments on those videos are other creators saying, I did a bunch of movie recaps and it did great. Now that it's time to monetize, YouTube terminated my channel because everything was copyrighted, which is a problem everyone experiences if they go into the movie genre, which I don't recommend. It's just so many issues that I just don't want to deal with anymore. I've dealt with it for 2 years and I'm honestly not happy doing movie videos anymore. At the moment, I don't care about blowing up. Yeah, it'll be more money, but I would be suffering making videos constantly and just not being happy with what I'm making. happy. I'm happy making these, and honestly, sometimes I have fallen asleep to these videos. These make me happy, and I still post some movie content as shorts because the content ID system doesn't really do much for shorts, because I haven't had any shorts taken down, and I've had just full-on clips of movies as shorts. It seems safe to do that for now. Yesterday, I posted a Godzilla short. In Japan, they don't believe in fair use laws, which is what gets movie reviews out onto YouTube. And it's a miracle that my Godzilla video is still up. They don't believe in fair use laws, so it's even harder to do Japanese movies. Next comment, Sambit Semyak Barik. You comment a lot. You're great. I have an interesting story of mine, and I'll definitely love to share it. My exams are coming up next month, so I'll share it after my exams end, or if I get some free time in between. It's a proper big story, so I want to share it properly. That's why. And thanks for taking the recommendation. You're welcome. I can't wait to hear it. Hopefully you enjoyed my story today. I have plenty of others. I have an entire Google Doc of stories, which I turn into shorts, which I can also explain more in depth in these videos, and just completely new stories, which I haven't explained yet. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, comment, subscribe. There's a hype button below the video that you can press. There's a new hype leaderboard that YouTube's doing to support smaller creators. If you enjoyed this and want to support me, press that button. If enough people press it, apparently I get on like a leaderboard. Never had that happen to me before. And apparently it can help you grow a lot. Videos are popping up on the screen now. If you enjoy this video, you'll probably enjoy the ones that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy the most. And yeah, I'll see you on the tripod.